Alrighty. Howdy Neighbors and welcome back to Forgotten Not Lost. Last time I realized that I picked a sad game. I'd like to apologize. We're seeing how do I say this properly? How far along his Alzheimer's is. And we have guests. But they have not the same, but very similar names to his wife and his late daughter. So, I think I know where this is going. Oh, have you eaten this kind of bread before? Maribel freezes for a moment, looking like a deer in headlights. I tilt my head at her sudden reaction, but Maribel avoids my eyes, giving her gaze downwards and eating in silence. Then Madeline. Yes, she has eaten this before a long time ago. There's a note of false cheerfulness in Madeline's voice. I study her curiously, and once again, the feeling of familiarity comes back. There's something about her that I just cannot put my finger on. The fact that she's your wife. I can't remember ever talking to her before today, but every time I look at her, I get this kind of feeling that we've met a long time ago, and even spent quality time together, which frankly is not possible. Or is it? Could she have been a friend from before? Curse's awful memory. I saw, giving up the train of thought. Trying to rack my brain for things I can't recall always gives me a headache. Do you want to figure out the kitchen? I look at her with a humorous glint in my eyes. Are you done so already? Madeline shrugs playfully, laughing. This young lady reminds me of Madeline. That the one with the E's is his wife. When she was younger, who was also extremely playful, Madeline would come up with all sorts of pranks and traps, which I would always fall for. One time Madeline even tricked me into going into the women's baths. I got into a lot of trouble with the village, until she confessed that it was all her fault. Do you remember, Madeline, that time you tricked me into wandering to the women's baths? I laughed and silence falls over us. Smiles on the faces of both Maribel and Madeline widen as they give each other a meaningful look that I can't discern, and then slowly turn to stare at me. How great for the three of us to be here as a family. I'm upset! I'm upset! No! I don't want it. I don't. I really, really don't. Dinner time was a lovely affair. We joke and talk about all kinds of things while enjoying the delicious meal of bacon and sausages that Madeline had so kindly prepared for us. However, the entire time, I couldn't put one thing out of my mind. Madeline still has yet to return. No, she's back. She's back. When all of us had finished dinner, I came up to grab my coat and my lamp oil. Excuse me, I'm going out for a while. I need to find my wife. She's been out since this morning. I'm getting very worried. It's probably nothing, but I still want to go search for her just in case. I step out of the door, the frantic footsteps behind me make me look back. Both Maribel and Madeline had followed me with identical worried expressions. What is it? It's alright. I'm just going to look for my wife. I'll be back as soon as I find her. Can we come with you? 2 extra pairs of eyes should help speed up your search for your wife. Me too. I want to go too. I consider their offer for a moment. I briefly think about turning them down, but something about their eager expressions induced me to agree. I finally nod, smiling gratefully. Thank you. I appreciate it. Holding my oil lamp, I make my way down the path with the 2 guests behind me. My pace slows unconsciously as I try to decide where I should look first. Maybe I should go to the market. Then Madeline heads to the market early in the morning. I also thought I almost jumped out of my skin when Madeline suddenly breaks silence. Hey, can I ask you something? Yeah? Are you worried about your wife? Of course I am. I'm sure Madeline will be fine. She always returns home to me safe and sound after all. One time she went to gather herbs with her daughter, never came back. I panicked like any husband would and set out to look for her. I found her at the tavern drinking. I simply lost track of time and didn't realize how late it was until I showed up behind her, panting from the exertion of running all over town. Maybe I should go to Yigman's Tavern this time as well. Yigman's Tavern is closed. The owner passed away last winter. His son ended up selling the place, and it's being rebuilt into another house. My footsteps faltered for a moment. I don't recall that happening. That might be so. It did not occur to me to question it. My memory is bad after all. I'm sure it must be true. Sir, if I may, can I ask a question? Yeah. What would you do if something happened to your wife? Maribel! I think it's happened to her, don't worry. Do you even know where to find her? I'll just keep walking till I find her. I pat Maribel's head as she looks at me with those big, innocent eyes. You'll understand when you get married. And she's not getting married! It's not gonna happen! The rest of the journey passes in silence. I hate this. I hate it. I take my usual route to the town, keeping an eye out for Madeline the whole time. Pause hesitantly, I come to the crossroads on the new path that leads into the forest. It's certainly inconvenient. Madeline could have taken either path. Which way should I go? I think myself before pointing at the forest. I think my adventurous wife would go this way. Madeline shakes her head frowning, while Maribel laughs, as if encouraging me to follow the path. The twists and turns of the path feel familiar. My feet seem to be taking me along the path without my controlling it. Maybe this path isn't totally new after all. It does remind me of... Yes, I remember this place. Madeline's face brightens as she gives me a cheerful smile. Madeline's at the end of this path, I'm sure of it. I try to increase the pace of my footsteps in haste. Though I do not seem to feel any difference. The path seems to go on forever. I try to curb my impatience by starting a conversation with my guests. We used to come here every day with our daughter. We like going to the wishing well. It's a steep climb though. It's the well to top a cliff. Still, every day we would make our way up to the cliff, rain or shine, pray for our daughter's recovery. However, this time, I did not even need to ascend the cliff before noticing a sight that awaits me. No. No. No! No! That's why she didn't want to go! No! I hate it. I hate this game. I hate that I'm feeling things. Sucks. I don't normally care about this, but I do at this moment, and this sucks. Madeline lays in the slope, her head twisted in an unnatural angle. Her clothes are caked in mud. Even from this distance, I could tell there was no life remaining in her. Yeah. There's a moment of dead silence. Time seems to stop. My arms reach out toward my wife, trembling in disbelief. No! Don't show me this! I don't want to see it. Oh. The cow was cute. The cow was very cute. Who's gonna cut your breakfast now? No, this can't be. I lunged forward at her, almost doubled over with sobs. Madeline holds me back with a surprised amount of strength, while Mirabelle clings to my foot, shaking slightly. No, no, what am I supposed to do without you? Both of you have left me. You can't leave me like this. That's why they both came to get him. I hate it here! I escape out, my knees collide against the ground, but the pain barely registers in my mind. I can't tear my eyes away from Madeline's body as I crawl toward it. Leave me alone. At least take me with you. Madeline. I cry incessantly in anguish and devastation as the two guests wrap their arms around me, offering whatever comfort they can. My wails echo through the quiet night, increasing in volume rather than fading, as though I hoped to pass on all of the things I never got a chance to tell her through the sheer volume of my voice, or wake myself up from this horrible nightmare. I don't even know how long I knelt there, rattling Madeline's broken body and weeping. Eventually, the two guests coaxed me to loosen my grip on her, and heaved me to my feet. In a daze, I let them lead me home. I collided into my armchair immediately. The sight of Madeline is burned in my mind, causing me to convulse in horror every so often. I want to scream and shout to the world about my pain, my helplessness, the anger I feel coursing through my body. But I've used up all my energy crying. I love your cow, Maribel. Here, sir, drink this. You'll feel better. I smile weakly and accept the cup of tea. I appreciate her concern, but this is something that tea cannot fix. The image of my wife's body flashes across my mind again, and I shudder with another great sob. I can't let my beloved wife lie there, drenched in mud and rain and even worse, mostly eaten by wild animals. We need to bury her. I must go back to her body at once. No, sir, stay here. I'll get some help from the town and bury her beside her child. We never said Mirabelle died. No, I cannot possibly trouble you. It is my duty as a husband to see Madeline's burial. It's no trouble at all. Maribel, can you keep the good sir here company until I return? Of course. I'll be back as soon as I can then. Madeline gives a small, comforting smile and leaves. Charles sits in the armchair beside me, watching me cautiously, as if unsure what to do. Don't worry, I won't do anything stupid. For some reason, my head is now clear. Madeline wouldn't want me to do something stupid as well. She always told me that if anything happened to her, the first thing I must do is celebrate everything she's ever done for me, and live on for her sake. This hurts so bad. I hate it. It hurts so bad. It is too... It's too real. It is too real. It is a deep pain coursing over here. Okay, we're good. Thank you for putting up with me all these years, Madeline. Thank you for... Tears poured out of my eyes as all the memories I shared with Madeline that my life started rushing into my mind. My heart feels as if it's being ripped apart into a million pieces. Hey! A young girl hits me with her toy cow. Startled, I look at her blearily, still half blinded by my tears. Don't you think it's more appropriate for you to say all these with a smile at her funeral where she could hear you? A The young girl smiled brightly. I paused for a moment, wiping the tears away. She's right. Madeline had always hated it when I cried. Even during Mirabelle's funeral, she refused to shed tears in front of me. She was a much stronger person than I am. What will I do without her now? I almost sank back into despair, but pushed away the darkness with great effort. You're right, aren't I? That was how Mirabelle always replied when we told her that she was right. There was a small smile to my face, and I gave her the same reply that I would have given to Mirabelle. You are. Calm for the moment. Take a sip from the cup of tea. It tastes sweet. I smile a little before giving a heavy sigh. Madeline. I can't believe she's really gone. The first thing that comes to mind when I think about my wife is the day of our wedding. Our town was merely a quaint little village back then. The wedding ceremonies mainly consisted of a lot of partying and cheering. But my mother insisted that we at least follow the form that the big cities had. The village elder had just stamped his seal on our marriage document and declared us husband and wife, and the villagers started chanting around us, urging us to kiss. Laughing, half in embarrassment and half in amusement, we leaned in to kiss each other as the cheers erupted around us. She pulled away. There was a stupid smile on her face. I was sure I had the same dumb grin on my face, rather some disbelief that I had finally married the woman of my dreams. She peeked at me through her eyelashes and whispered to me, finally. Hey, are you really okay? Maribel's voice brings me back to the present. I shake my head to clear the lingering memory from my mind and try to crack a smile, nodding in what I hope is a reassuring manner. Yes, thank you for asking. I keep my eyes on the fireplace, not wanting to see the child's concerned expression. From the corner of my eye, I noticed Maribel stifling a yawn. If you're tired, go to sleep. Could you sing me a song? I look at surprise, caught off guard by the request. I can't really remember any good songs right now, but I suppose I have nothing better to do. A good distraction for now. Of course I can! I set my tea aside and clear my throat, shifting my armchair closer to her. Maribel hugs her cow doll tightly to her chest and sighs happily as she curls up to a ball in the armchair. I reach out to stroke her hair as I sing. I've just looked in to tell you, my dear. There's 5 eggs in one nest in yonder hawthorn tree. Maribel seems to be the kind who can fall asleep easily. I could probably stop singing already. Just to be safe, I continue petting her head gently and crooning softly. I'm teaching them to sing, you know. As yet, one cannot sing. But the nightingale, I'm told, will have a lovely voice one day. I fall silent for a moment to stop my hand motions. Maribel bumps her head up a little against my hand. Continue, please. I smile, resume my actions. I think I hear them calling me, and so I must not stay. I know you will not mind if I pay them a visit. For one day, I know you will sing as well as them. I'll call you again one day and tell you something more. Good night, my love. The nightingale awaits to sing to you in your dreams. I looked down to check, and as expected, Maribel has drifted off to sleep, all the while still clinging onto her cow doll. Good night, Maribel. I close my eyes as well, drowsy with exhaustion and from all that has happened today. As sleep overtakes me, I keep repeating the same thought in my mind, hoping that by some miracle I did not forget it the next day. Remember to attend to Madeline's funeral and burial. I still can't quite believe it. For a brief moment when I woke up this morning, Thought it was all a dream, and I would wake up to Madeline's sweet voice once more. Fresh reality hits me as some of the villagers knock at my door, giving me their condolences. Just like my guess, Madeline. I gotten some able-bodied villagers to help me bury her, and as a result, the news has gotten around the town already. Who has dropped by so far? I think my good friend, Yingmund from the tavern did earlier. His usually cheery face grim with sorrow. Morrison for the Crafters Guild had come in briefly as well, having me on the shoulder with a wordless gesture of comfort. Although none of this really took away from the ache of my loss. It helped slightly, knowing that I'm not entirely alone in my mourning. Somehow, villagers even managed to find a good coffin on such short notice. Madeline always insisted that she wanted to be buried simply. However, I think she had always known that I would have insisted that she be buried in a manner that that is at least what I consider proper. Thank you, Madeline. You're a great guest in my house. Right now you're doing all the work for me. It's fine, sir. Do not worry. A water drop falls on my head, quickly followed by many more. Peer up the cloudy sky. It seems that oh my god. It seems as though even the heavens above agree with my sorrow. A sudden wave of anger toward the heavens for taking my wife from me rushes through me. But I push that aside for the time being. I am having such a hard time with reading right now, good lord. I promised the young girl yesterday. I need to talk to Madeline one last time. As they lower the coffin to the ground, I avert my eyes from the unbearable sight, preferring to look at the people who are standing around me with solemn faces. I see Yigmund and his wife standing side by side, tears glinting in their eyes. Turn away in bitterness when I see him take her hand when I see him take her hand in his to console her. I catch the sight of a few other familiar faces. Take a mental note to thank them later for all their support. You want to say a few things to your wife before we let her return to the earth to rest. The young girl, Maribel, holds my hand. Madeline follows her lead and reaches for my other hand. Comforted by the gestures, I found my voice to speak loudly. Madeline, thank you. I try to smile, but more tears just keep flowing down my cheeks. I'm sorry I had to take care of this old, useless man for so long. Suddenly memories of her feeding me that morning hit me with the force of a ton of bricks, and I start wailing. Why? Why did I spend all that time toying with those trinkets? The simple baubles that somehow makes perfect sense to me now, instead of talking to her. Why did I not kiss her before she left? I'm so sorry. I just want to see you again. I cough, choking on my tears. The goon walks over to me and hands me a spade. I don't even know what that is. One hand on my shoulder is a gesture of silent comfort. A nod in acknowledgement, and he wordlessly steps aside. There's so much I still want to say. All the years that we have been married. All the moments that we spent together. I have decades worth of unsaid things that I want to tell you. How could you leave me behind like this? Would you be there to greet me when my time is up? Could you even hear what I'm saying at all? She can hear you. She's right there. Madeline encourages me to go forward. It's time. The wife is waiting, she always is. I slowly dig the spade into the mud. Toss the last bit of dirt to cover her coffin. When I'm done, take a deep breath and stare at the freshly dug area where the coffin lies underneath. Thank you for all your help. Turn around, saying roughly, but to my surprise, the only people around me are Madeline and Maribel. They said they had other things to do. They will meet you again later. I see. Cough again, clear my throat. My head is much clearer now. I can think of recent events more clearly now, even though some bits still seem murky to me. It reminds me of my father, who had an exceptionally clear head in the last few days of his life, and had settled his affairs nicely and quickly. The entire time, he also kept looking out the door of our house, though he was waiting for someone. Let's go back now. Thank you, Mirabelle. Madeline. I say that, I'm thinking the freeze. Look back at them and try to smile casually. I apologize for the slip of the tongue. Let's go back now. Let this old man make you some tea as thanks for all your help. The two of them simply smile in response, take my hands in theirs on each side as we begin to walk back home. How much longer are the two of you staying? I asked them as I set 2 cups of tea and small plates of buttered sugar bread in front of them. We will leave soon. I'm sorry, is our presence bothering you? I shook my head and smiled. There was no way that an old man like me, who has no company left, will ever dislike having guests. Now that Madeline is gone, the house that was already lonely without Mirabelle feels even more silent. I was just thinking that maybe, just maybe, I don't have enough time left to keep being a good host to you. Want to hear a story? I never even told Madeline this. Mirabelle nods, her eyes burning with curiosity. Madeline tries and fails to hide her expression of shock, but she also nods. My father was well, the tea plantation here is ours. He was a good man. He didn't let money get to his head and helped everyone he could. He fell ill one day, and the physician came. Was he terminally ill? Thank you, child, for knowing what terminally means. I nodded. They said it was something that could not be stopped, and that he was just going to waste away and die, quite painfully at that. Madeline sighs, placing her hand on mine as comfort. I smile at her, silently thanking her for her kindness and respect. However, my father was quite the eccentric man. When the doctors gave the diagnosis, while my mother and I were shocked and subdued by grief, he merely asked how much time he had left. Then he went about his daily business like it was nothing. Madeline sighed and muttered something under her breath. Sounds like him. Yeah? Oh, nothing. Please continue. He even insisted that we go about our daily business, even as his health and mental condition got worse toward the end. However, in the last few days of his life, he was unexpectedly clear in the head. You would never have believed he was a man on the last leg of his life, especially in his earlier condition. It was a miracle that he was able to sort out all of the complicated procedures to divide the entire estate from my wife and I, as well as donating the rest of his assets to charity. He was specifically lectured me to take care of my wife. I smelled nostalgia, sniffling a little as my nose turned sour. These old memories are great and beautiful, even though at the time they felt devastating and painful, to the point where I did not even want to relive those moments. He sounds like an amazing person. Oh, he is. I reached out to take a slice of buttered sugar bread as well, and he slowly as I sip my tea. It feels good to be able to tell a story to someone who will listen, even if it is just to 2 strangers that I know close to nothing about. I don't know how to explain this, but my mind has been getting worse lately, but right now I can talk to both of you without any problems. I can recall things that happened yesterday, even though I haven't been able to do that for a long time. I may be thinking too much, but I think this old man has about lived out his life. Madeline shakes her head, a strange expression on her face. Then, are you scared of meeting your wife and daughter in heaven? Never. In fact, if anything, I would welcome meeting them. But what if you still have a few years to live? Then live fully I shall. However, I know myself best. I smile and continue drinking my tea. I have so much to tell them, especially Mirabelle. Thought she would be married by now. I think she'd be married by now if she was still alive. Mirabelle shifts in her seat. How do you think she would have looked? That's a tough question. Maybe she would have taken after her mother. Madeline was very ladylike when she was a teenager, became more tomboyish after. Probably because she helped with farm work after dating me. Or maybe that's just what I thought sometimes, because she was always more of a man than I am. I don't think I'd mind whatever she would have grown up to be like. She always wanted to be a princess. Maybe she would have been one if she was still alive. I tried to picture Mirabelle in a princess's gown and shake my head in response to my own question. The image doesn't quite fit. I think she might have been too tomboyish already. Think so? Quick conversation may not mean much to them, but it is extremely comforting and relieving for me to say all these things. Perhaps even therapeutic. I am going to end this episode here. Give myself a minute. So thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I will see you later.